What is going on, guys and girls? How are you doing today? It's Single Roleplayer here once again. Let's talk about the recent release of the new gems for the summoners in the upcoming Path of Exile Blight expansion 3.8. So there's quite a bit of them, and I wanted to talk specifically about this stuff because I have about 4 minion builds out there in Path of Exile forums right now. I probably carry the most minion builds, probably not. But all of these impact my current builds. I will definitely be looking into the builds and updating them, and I will also have to test this out to see which of these gems are the best. For the builds that I have SRS, skeleton builds, I got Spectre builds, I got the Gollum's build too, so I got 4 builds right now for the just exclusively minions. So let's take a look. And the first thing that I want to mention, guys, is I'm pretty surprised they are buffing minions in the first place, because they were not really in a terrible place. Several patches ago, like 5-6 patches ago, they buffed minions for the first time. It was the buff to the life, to the damage, to the mobility, and to the accuracy, which was the big problem for the minions in general. And SRS became viable with the doubled accuracy in them. And skeletons became viable with the better mobility, the better damage. The damage of the skeletons was on par with the rest of the minions. So minions were dramatically buffed, and since that time they were pretty damn viable for anything. I created 4 builds, like I said. All of these builds were very viable, super strong, and I didn't really see the reason to buff minions even further, because there are things like the Herald of Agony, which literally just destroys everything with no investment. There's also Arakalis Fang Spider-Mancer build, which literally is insane for literally nothing. And so minions were already for a long time in a very good spot, and honestly I didn't see the reason to do such a big investment into minions right now, because I think that there were more problems with other sides of Path of Exile other than the minions. But you know, it's their choice, and this is a good thing. It's not like it's bad. It's absolutely great that they are actually caring about the minions, and they took a long path over there, and it took like an extra mile to go to buff and make minions even more viable than before. So let's take a look. Carrying Gollum. The Carrying Gollum is a well-rounded attacker using a rapid melee attack, a leap slam to get into the thick of combat, and a powerful cooldown restricted multi-cascade slam. That's pretty dope. It looks like a stone golem actually. As its passive Gollum buff, it grants added physical damage to all non-Gollum minions. It means SRS, zombies, everything, including this attacks and spells. That's pretty insane. That means that it also affects the phantasms, because it adds physical damage to the spells, and phantasms are actually physical spellcasters. It has a unique feature among golems, gaining more damage for each of your non-golem minions around it. So it gains more damage for each of the non-golem minions around it. So practically, this dude is a fucking juggernaut. It's like a giant fucking unit. And if you have like 20 SRS around with skeletons and anything, it can be ridiculous. I think we are looking at another Herald of Agony, guys, right here. Probably even the stronger version of it. Up to 80% more damage. This is pretty ridiculous. A single Carrion Golem fits well into the established minion builds as an extra bonus to all of your necromantic minions, and will also be invested in more heavily by taking various sources with additional golems. Alright. New notable passive too. That's very interesting, guys. And using multiple golems alongside a swarm of zombies or skeletons. Alright, 4 new support gems that you replace on your minions to change their behavior and function. This is the fun part. A Feeding Frenzy. The Feeding Frenzy support gem makes supported minions aggressive, increasing the range that they'll seek out enemies. It also gives hits from the minions a chance to give you the Feeding Frenzy buff, granting more minion damage and increased minion attack, cast, and movement speed. So when they hit, you get the buff, and you buff them with more minion damage. That's pretty dope. While you have the Feeding Frenzy buff, the supported minions deal even more damage. That's pretty fucking dope. I think it might replace some normal gems like the Millifist, probably Multi-Strikes, you know, ruthless, all that shit. We're gonna see just the numbers, guys. The numbers are important. If the numbers are too low, probably this will not be the case to replace the common minion gems. If the numbers are good, it will be replaced. Mid-shield support. The mid-shield support gem makes supported minions defensive, causing them to only attack enemies that get very close to you. It also gives the minions a chance to taunt on hit, reduces the damage they take, and causes them to deal more damage to enemies close to you. If minions are both aggressive and defensive, those affixes cancel out, returning the minions to their original behavior. All other bonuses from the support gem still apply. That's pretty nice. It makes, it actually makes, you know, really nice thing with the animated guardian. It also makes super tanky skeletons, super tanky zombies. So it's a very interesting thing, actually. Deathmark support. The Deathmark support grants supported minions more damage and grants you the Deathmark skill. Casting Deathmark on an enemy causes all minions supported by a Deathmark support to prioritize attacking the target and gives them a further damage multiply against the enemy. So yeah, it's like Mark for Death. Mark for Death skill in the last epoch actually looks a lot like that. Casting Deathmark on a new enemy removes the existing Deathmark. You can Deathmark to have precise targeting for specific minions, and the Deathmark targeting will override aggressive or defensive behavior while it is active. The minions will fall back on their regular targeting if no Deathmark is present. Different combinations of these free support gems let you use different minions for different roles. For example, might be using your zombies with mid-shield to protect you, your carrion golems with feeding frenzy to clear groups of enemies, and the Deathmark support on both of them so you can send all of them and after bosses while you evade the boss's abilities from a distance. It's pretty fucking dope. It definitely gives a lot of variety to what it can do. The real problem here will be investing enough in all this type of minions to actually deal some decent amount of damage. So in general, if you play any summoner builds, there's quite a bit of a problem to feeding more than 2 types of minions, because if you feed another one, it literally does nothing. It literally does no damage, no utility whatsoever. Even fitting 2 of them requires you like cheaper Elder helmets. Like for example, in my Spectre build, I use an Elder helmet with the minion damage, so I can put extra 5 link skeletons there on top. So you know, it's just very hard to invest enough into 2 types of minions to make them viable. Like for example, if you run the Golem and you run the Spectres, so you get to invest into the Spectre damage. So the Spectres will be like the main damage, and you can't really invest into the Golem because, you know, Golems requires primordial jewels. Otherwise, they like do shit damage. They're pretty useless. They only like a small buff to your Spectres. That's why investment and spreading out across different types of minions would be a definite problem right now, because the possibilities are quite vast, and there's a lot of them. The last one, Infernal Legion support. The Infernal Legion support gem causes supported minions to take a large percent of the maximum life as fire damage over time. They all gain a burning damage aura, dealing fire damage over time to nearby enemies. The affix doesn't stack, but is modified by minion damage increases and other support gems. So they have a fire damage aura, which is increases with the generic minion damage. This support can be used to deal damage to large groups of enemies and is available at quite a low level, so is an alternative to melee splash for some minion types. That's interesting. It also works well alongside the minion instability keystone, letting you use your minions as walking time bombs. Interesting. That's pretty cool. We'll be revealing further minion changes, including the new wand base type, Necromancer Ascendancy, and passive tree in the upcoming teasers and news. In the meantime, check out the video. Let's check it out, guys. Let's check it out. Wait a minute. This is a carrying gun. This is... Ah, this is like an aura with burns. Yeah, this is pretty dope. Feeding Frenzy. This is the Feeding Frenzy buff you get. Deathmark. Alright, they're pretty close. With the mid-shield support, they're pretty damn close, guys. They're pretty damn close, actually. Feeding Frenzy, Carrying Golem, Death Mark, and mid-shield. So wait a minute, put Death Mark on the Golem? Casting Death Mark on an enemy causes all minions by a Death Mark to prioritize attacking the target. What does it mean? What does it mean, Carrying Golem Death Mark? It's very hard to understand what is going on there. Skeletons are very fast. Zombies are close. They're sticking very closely. This is Basilica, by the way, I think, right? They're also running with Fortify on them. So probably using my build. With a Fortify staff. Yeah, that's Basilica. Give me a second. He has... How many golems he got? This, like... Alright, so... looks pretty good so far. Looks pretty good so far, guys. And I can't wait to check the stats on this gems, because stats are important for me, so I can decide what I can use, which of these gems I can use in my builds, because like I said, I have 4 builds out there for the minions, and I can't wait to see what it can be used in my builds. Like Carrying Golem seems pretty good. He seems pretty crazy, assuming that he gets buffed by the minions around him and he buffs them, and he gets buffed by the minions. That's pretty crazy. Feeding Frenzy is pretty insane. I think it's might be the default from now on. Mid shield is kind of weird and probably will be mostly used on leveling to keep you safe during the early mapping process, probably on the animated guardian as well. Death Mark, I'm not so sure it will be crazy, especially I mean, it will take some place in your current gem setup, but probably if the damage will be that crazy, you can use it like in one socket, or maybe in as a standalone skill to just mark the enemies to get the buff. Infernal Legion requires some investment probably, and some thought with the minion instability, with the new SRS amulet, with the Chaos Degen and shit. I think it has a lot of life, and probably with the zombie fire, with the zombie baron necromancer, with this thing, probably zombies will be pretty insane with this shit, guys. I'll take a look. These are my thoughts on the necromancer. Let me know, guys, if you're hyped about this. What kind of builds you have plans? Are you gonna play the summoner? What type of summoner gonna play? Thanks for watching, boys, girls, and see you soon. First of all, I would like to thank you very much for watching the video. Your likes and dislikes, especially, as they push me forward even more. If you want to see more content, please consider subscribing to the channel. I do daily uploads of role-playing content, being it builds, guides, let's play, stream highlights, and upcoming RPG games. Also, don't forget to follow my Twitch stream to catch me live in action. I do stream daily on working days. I'm a full-time YouTube content creator and a Twitch streamer too, so if you want to support me, you can do it either from Twitch or by PayPal directly from my website angryroleplayer.com. Join my Discord channel too for a place to discuss RPG things offline, as well as follow my Twitter to be notified on any new content. If you want to get extra information like sneak peeks into upcoming videos, plans, different behind-the-scenes footage, you can also join an Unholy Army on Patreon as well, guys. Thank you very much once again for watching and listening to all this. See you soon.